Hello, and welcome to WebScript. I am Klaytn and I will be your host. Today we will talk about the console object, and how we can apply some styling around what we print in the browser's console. The console object is extremely useful, and as web developers, we spend much of the time debugging and interacting with the browser's dev tools to see errors, or whatever data we want to send to it. So, if we have a lot of data coming from multiple files, or components like I will show you later in the video, the style will help us identify faster what data comes from which file. Now, let's start with our Console.log styling project. First, let me create a new folder. Let's name it JS Console Styling. We will open this folder with a code editor, and in my case, with Visual Studio Code. I am asked if I can trust the authors. I am the author, and I don't know if I can trust me. But, for now let's say yes. Let's open up a new terminal. We can do it using the shortcut Control backtick. Now make a new JavaScript file, using the terminal. Code, index.js, and press enter. This terminal command will make a new file, which will be automatically opened in VS Code. Let's also make a new HTML file, named index.html, using the terminal command, code, index.html, and press enter. Now, we have the two files ready, and let's insert some code into index.html, so that we can see what we send to the console. Using the emit shortcut with exclamation mark, we will get a small HTML boilerplate to start with. Let's change the doc title, and link our script file, named index.js, using the script tag with source attribute. Now, let's open up our little project with live server. In future videos, we will cover all these tools in detail. And we will install them from scratch. So, make sure you subscribe to WebScript channel, give me like if you like this video, and hit the notification bell to get notified when we release a new video. Let's open up Chrome DevTools, using the right click, and click on Inspect. Here we see the browser's console. In my case, it is at the bottom, but depends on how your dev tools are configured. Let's insert some code into index.js, and see if we successfully configured our little project. The two forward slashes mean that this line of code is a comment, and it will not affect our script. Console.log, hello world. This is one of the most used phrases in web development. As a beginner, press Ctrl S to save the file, and as we can see in our browser console, this works. Now, let's try a different phrase and give it some style. Console.log, hello world. I am a full-stack web developer. Put a comma after the text, and here we define a style. The style will be a string wrapped in quotation marks. Double or simple, it doesn't matter. For now, let's only define color red for our text. And we have to put a %c in our phrase, where we want our style to start. Save the file with Ctrl S. And we can see in our browser console, we have our text in color red, after which we put that %c. Put a semicolon after color red, and let's define a font style of italic. And we see now that our text is red, and also has a style of italic. Put another semicolon after font style, and let's define a background color, yellow for example. Save the file, and we see our background color. Let's also give the text some padding, save the file, and we see our custom Console.log styling. Console.log, another text, for example, hello world. I am Klaytn, from WebScript channel. And let's define two styles, put a %c in front of the text, and let's put a %c after hello world. Comma after the text, and the first style will be color red, font style bold, background color yellow, and a padding of 10 pixels. Comma, and the second style of color blue, font style italic, background color green, and also a padding of 10 pixels. Save the file, and we see in the console that our styles applied. I forgot an N in padding, but all good now. Let's define a third style, with hexadecimal color codes. Color white, which is 3 Fs. All hex color codes start with the hashtag symbol. Font style of bold. Background color black, which is 3 zeros, and a padding of 10 pixels. Let's put the %C in our text, right before channel name, web script. Save the file, and we now have a third style, in the same text. Let's try this with variables. Define a variable named message, with the let keyword. Let's say, for example, that this variable is equal with the string, hi. I am Klaytn, and I will be your guide on this channel. Let's define another variable, let style, equal to quotation marks, because it will also be a string. And inside quotation marks, color, HSL, which stands for hue, saturation, and luminosity. Open parentheses, 0 for hue, comma 0% for saturation, comma, and 100% for luminosity, which is color white and HSL color code. Let's also define a font style of italic, background color of HSL, open parentheses. $220 for hue, 50% for saturation, and 60% for luminosity, which is some bluish color. Also, let's define a padding of 10 pixels. The remaining thing to do is to console.log our message. First, let's see it without the style. And it's there in the console. Now, let's give it the style. Console.log, and inside parentheses, %C in quotation marks, space, plus, space, the variable named message, which contains our text, plus we'll concatenate the two strings, because we know that we need the %C, to be able to apply the style, put a comma after message, and here we specify our style. And we define it in a variable. So, here we pass our variable name style, and we now have our console.log style applied to our message. Let's define another style in a variable. So, let's style 2, with camel case, because this is how we define our multi-word variables in JavaScript. And assign the value, string, color, red, font style, italic, background color yellow, padding of 1 rem, border, 1 pixel solid white, and a border radius of 2v min. Console.log, and inside parentheses, %c in quotation marks, space, plus, space, the variable named message. Put a comma after message, and here we specify our style too. Save the file, and we can see our second style applied to the message. For a better view of the style, let's change the border to 2 pixels solid white. A background color of blue. And the text color to white. And, there it is, our style. Let's define another style in a variable. So, how to name it? Let another style, with camel case. And let's assign a value, more specifically a CSS style. Color, red. Font style, italic. Background color yellow. Padding of 1 rem. And a border radius of 1 v min. And a text shadow of 2 pixels, 2 pixels, 2 pixels, color black. And also a font size of 1 rem. Now let's see what we did. Change style to with another style variable. Save the file, and something is wrong. Yes, missing a semicolon, after font style. Now all it's good, and only change a little the font size, to better see the text shadow. Let's make a copy of line 32 in our script file. And in the first console.log, let's put our style too. Save, and now we can see our both styles. Now let's try to add another text in a variable. To see how we can put both messages in a single log function with different styles. Let my message, and, assign the string value. Let's start coding. Go at the end of the script file, leave an empty row to look good. Here, let's say, console.log, quotation marks, %c, plus, message, plus an empty space, which is just a space inside quotation marks, plus %c in quotation marks, plus my message variable, which contains our new string. If we save it now, we will see only the text concatenated, without any styles, because we didn't define the styles in our log function. Put a comma after my message variable, and let's pass 2 styles. For our first message, give the style to. And for my message variable, let's give it the style in the variable another style. Save the file, and now we can see our 2 styles applied in our logger. Let's change the font size in both our styles, and try to bring them at a closer value. To look a little nicer. Style 2 doesn't have a font size, so, let's define a font size of 1 rem. A little better. To see a better use case for this console.log styling, I have an Angular project, with multiple components. Components in Angular are like HTML pages, only that with Angular, we build a one-page web application. And maybe we want to define some styles for each component to see from where our data is coming from, for a faster debugging experience. Think about some large amount of data, with hundreds, or thousands of components, or script files, not only a one line of code. I opened up my Angular project in VS Code, and now let's find two components, and console.log some data with different styles applied. Let's open up the header component TypeScript file. And the past shifts component, which is already opened. Let's define a style in the header component, of type string, and assign the value from our style to. I just copied it and pasted it here. Now let's console.log some data, and we will log the username of our app user. So, inside our function, console.log, response.username, comma, this.style, which is our defined style from above. Let's also define a style in the past shifts component, also of type string, and assign the value from our variable another style. In this component, I will also log the username of our app user. So, inside our getUserData function, console.log, user.username, comma, this.style, which is also our defined style from above in this component. Now let's serve our application, and see if it works. In the terminal, I run the command ng-s, which is a command to serve our application, and be able to open it in the browser. The application bundles. And now it's served on localhost, port 4200. Now let's see it in the browser. Open up DevTools with the right click, and click on Inspect. I have to be logged in to see the data, and let's do this rapidly. So, we have our data with the username coming from the two components. But the styles are just concatenated, and no visual effect. This is because we didn't put the %c in our console logs. And, let's just do that. In both our consoles.logs, before our data, we put the string %c plus user.username in the past shifts component. And %c plus response.username in the header component. And now, we have both our styles applied for each component. In future videos, we will enter in more detail into the programming languages and the JavaScript framework Angular. This was just an example of a small use case for styling our console logs. And, as I said earlier, I think this will be useful for large amounts of data, and not just 2 lines of code. So, make sure you subscribe to the WebScript channel, give me like if you like this video, and hit the notification bell to get notified when we release a new video. Inside the variables, style your data as you like. Because in programming, the limit is only our imagination. And we can build awesome web applications, we just need great ideas. Let's change the border to 1 pixel. Lower the padding to 10 pixels. The border radius to 1 v-min. And the font size 0.825 rem. And for our second style, also reduce the padding to 10 pixels. And the font size to 1 rem. Better this way. I exaggerated the styles a little, but you can do it as you like. This is it for now. We learned how to start a project in JavaScript, we made an HTML file, and linked it with our script file. And we saw how to style our console logs messages, for a faster debugging experience. Remember, the limit is only our imagination, and the better way to start learning to code is to just start. Happy coding everybody, and have a nice day. Don't forget to subscribe, and hit that like button. Thanks for watching.